Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back here with Big Booty Ruby, my Ram 3500 with a 6.4 Hemi in it. I've been having some trouble with gas mileage. I think I'm having trouble with gas mileage. I thought when I got this truck last year that I was getting about 13 miles to the gallon. I never look at the trip mileage that shows on the dash. I always do it just from how many gallons I put in at the pump. And I thought I was getting like 13.1, and I just kind of noticed over the last few months that it feels like that it's dropped off. And so today I went and filled up. I had recorded everything. I did a mileage test, and I'm at 10.4 miles to the gallon. So I feel like something's not right here. It's not throwing any error messages. It's also running pretty good. I'm not really having any issues there. It idles a little bit rough. So I'm thinking we'll just kind of do some maintenance here and see what we can figure out. The other thing is, God dang, look at that. I don't know if y'all can see that. What is it? March 25th? I can't even remember what day it is. Just snowing like crazy. Anyway, I've also got a cold, so I'm not feeling fantastic. So just bear with me as we work through this. Sometimes I find if you just push through these colds, you know, you're kind of getting done a little quicker. So stay tuned. We're going to get started here. Before we do anything, we want to see if we can collect some data. At the very least, it's going to give us an idea where to point to. Even though I'm primarily going to do maintenance on this car, I do want to see kind of where it's at right now. And for this purposes, normally I would use my scan tool, which is this Autel Diag Link, and it does a pretty good job. The problem is the data I want to collect today needs to be over a period of time, and although this will record the data and I can go back and take a look at it, it's not real easy to do it on. So in this case, we're just going to use the Torque Pro app that I've got loaded up on my radio here, and let me get you zoomed in. So what I want to do is I want to record all this data here and then come back and be able to play it. So what we're going to do is make sure we've got the right data that we want selected. So I'm just going into the settings here, the data logging, select what to log. Let's see if we can edit this list here. Here we go. Let me see if it'll let me uncheck some of these. There's still stuff in here from before. All right, I don't need air fuel ratio commanded or measured. And then we want to take essentially the fuel trims is all I need from here. Engine loads, I'm going to go ahead and keep the RPMs. We'll take off the evap. All right, fuel trim, bank 1 long term, fuel trim bank 1 short term, bank 2 long term, bank 2 short term. I want all that, and then I want the O2 sensors, intake manifold pressure. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. That can give us some data. O2 bank sensor 1, O2 bank 1 sensor 2. I do not need sensor 2. I only want the pre-cat O2 sensors. The post-cat ones don't make a difference to this. So O2 bank sensor 1, O2 bank sensor 2, we're going to remove. Okay, that's everything. So let's go ahead and head back. And what we're going to do is go ahead and start logging, and then we're just going to go for a drive. So, start logging. There we go. It's logging right now. We'll go for our drive and take a look here. Okay. I hope it's not too bouncy there. I've just got you guys propped up on my center console. It might be a little bit bouncy. I'm going to just try and explain what you're seeing here. So down here's the O2 sensors. We just need to see those oscillating from 0.0 to 0.9. They need to be averaging about 0.45, 0.5, somewhere in there. So I can tell that both the O2 sensors are working just fine on each side. And then here, these long-term fuel trims, we want these to be in the single digits. You can see they're below 10% on both sides, and they're pretty even on both sides. Like I said, bank 1 generally runs just a little bit leaner, so it dumps a little bit more fuel into it. And then our short-term fuel trims are making minor adjustments based on these trims, and they're all looking really good right now. So the system's just collecting a bunch of data right now as I'm driving. I'm gonna drive for half an hour into town, and go do a little bit of work, and then we'll come back and take a look at the data. But right now, you know, nothing looks off to me. It looks like things are running pretty good, but this will give us a baseline to compare before and after. Here is the data dump from that trip that we just took in the truck. And for me, the most important thing that I'll look at is the long-term fuel trim. I've got them highlighted here. This is bank 1 and this is bank 2. For those of you that don't know, bank 1 will be the side that cylinder 1 is on, and on the Dodge Ram, that'll be the driver's side. Bank 2 will be the cylinder that cylinder 2 is on, and that would be on the passenger side. I'm not going to try and go into a lot of detail here. If you don't know what a fuel trim is, there are a lot of great videos out there. I just wanted to quickly tell you that this is the one stat that I will go to when I just suspect there's something going on, but there's no additional information, like no codes are being thrown or anything like that, and generally the truck's running pretty good. You know, it's a new truck for me, so I don't know. Is it going to lose a lot of power during the wintertime? I don't know. Is it going to consume more fuel? So all I'm doing is just looking at it and just making a decision. Is it working well enough? So bank 1, we'll just look at bank 1. This is every piece of data that was recorded for bank 1, and all I'm doing is I'm looking at the average of all of these. And on average, it's averaging 5.35% over 0. 0 is the baseline. As close to 0 as you can get means that the car is running at its peak performance based on the way the engineers design the engine and all the emissions and everything else. As you start creeping up above 0, that means that your engine is running leaner and it's having to put more fuel in to compensate for that. If you're going below, your fuel trim's going into the negative, then that means that your engine is running richer and it's trying to pull fuel away from the engine so that it can bring it back into a more leaner state, a baseline of 0. Depending on the type of fuel you put into the car, depending on how it's running, the maintenance that's been done on the vehicle, are your plugs good? You know, do you have air cleaner clog? That's all going to affect these fuel trims. So all I want to do is I just want to look over the course of that trim. What did I average? Well, I averaged positive 5.35, which means it's running 5% leaner than the manufacturer perfect scenario engine, and it's putting more fuel into the engine. Because it's not throwing a check engine light doesn't mean it's not working within tolerances. The check engine light, if this goes out of whack over 10%, it might even be 12%. If you start seeing double-digit numbers here, that means that you've got some issue and you've probably thrown a check engine light that needs to be looked at. But we're in single digits. We're at 5% over. I'm really not too concerned about it. We're probably just talking about some maintenance here. Basically, what this is telling me is like, hey, nothing's really broken so bad that you're going to see a tremendous reduction in gas mileage. So I think the way that we're going to move forward here, because the fuel trims look pretty good, both sides are in balance. They're within 1 percentage point of each other. I think what we're going to do here is just change the air filter, clean the mass flow sensor. We're going to clean the throttle body. I suspect that's what's making the truck run rough. And when I say rough, a lot of people might not even feel it. For me, you know, it's noticeable, but I don't think people would even notice that it's running rough. It's not misfiring or anything. It's just you know, a little bit rough. So I think cleaning the throttle body, and then we might go as far as it's getting close to time to put new plugs in it. I might do some plugs in a different video. I think I'll just do the air cleaner, the mass airflow sensor, and the throttle body cleaning, and then we'll take some more comparisons and just compare the before and after and see what that looks like. And you guys might want me to go into more detail down the road and do some gas mileage comparisons and bring this back into the mix. We can always do this, but this just gives me a baseline and it tells me the engine's generally running pretty good. All right, so first things first, I've pulled the air cleaner out of here, or the air filter, I'm sorry. It's pretty dirty. This could definitely be a problem. So we're gonna put a new air cleaner in, and then while I'm in here, just looking down in the deal, I'm gonna check and see if that port there is clear. Down there on your right. And make sure there's no debris down in there that could be clogging us up. So use my fancy brush here to get down into the deal. Make sure it was free and there's no deal down in there. And it's good. It's clear. There's no debris on there, just snow. I checked underneath too through the access port, and she's all clear. So we're good there. Let's go on to the next part. Well, it looks like I lost my video. I cleaned the mass airflow sensor next, which is located right here. You just need to pull up, and then you hear it click, and then just pull out. Simple as that, and then take these two screws off and blow it off with the mass airflow sensor cleaner. Do not touch the bulb or any of the metal parts on there. And I think next what we'll do is we'll go ahead and pull this stuff off to the throttle body. Make sure we don't have any obstructions anywhere in here, and check the PCV valve and stuff and make sure that's all good, and see if we've got a clean throttle body. I suspect we're going to need to clean the throttle body. I don't know for sure, but we're about to find out. All right, guys, so what we're going to do next here, I wasn't actually planning on doing this, but I thought since we're going after MPGs, we should go ahead and take a look. So I just wanted to check for vacuum leaks. There's a lot of ways you guys can do it. You can spread a little propane down in there and see if you get idle response. You can use carb cleaner, though I don't think I would use that. There's a risk for fire there. You can also pressurize the system and just go around and spray with like dishwashing soap and a mixture of that and see if you see any bubbles. So those are some ways that you can do it at home. I use the smoke machine here. And what that does is it'll smoke the system. Let me just show you real quick. I'm going to turn it on and get this thing going so you can see what it does. Okay, so I've got it up and running there. You can see here, all it's going to do is it's going to eject smoke right into the intake system here. So I'll put this on, and then what we'll do is we'll just look around and see if we see any smoke popping up. So let me get this hooked up. This little part here, you can buy them online. I just printed it out on my 3D printer, and that just kind of goes in there, printed out to the size that I need. Okay, so it's up and running. It's injecting some smoke. We might just see a little bit of smoke come out around here, but the great thing about this is you can test it from behind the mass airflow sensor. You can check this boot for any smoke that might be coming out, that there might be a leak or a crack in here. You can test the PCV valve system. I mean, everything from the intake you can test and see if you've got any leaks. So we're just waiting for this thing to fill up with smoke. What will happen here is the pressure will start building up inside the system, and that'll let us know we're kind of ready to test. Unless there's a leak, then pressure won't build up. So let's give it a couple minutes here to fill up with smoke, and then we'll get started. All right, it's up and running. What we're going to do here is we're just going to look, and sorry about the lighting. I don't have the best lighting in the shop. And all we're looking for is just little whiffs of smoke coming out of anything. I don't expect to see anything here. The fuel trims were telling me that we most likely did not have a leak the way the system was running, but it never hurts to double check. In particular, you want to look under that intake manifold and see if you see any smoke billowing or coming up from underneath there. That could indicate a problem with the intake manifold leaking, you know, around the brake booster. We'll look there. Doing my best to show you guys what we're looking for here. And you just want to be methodical and go around the whole thing. So let me go ahead and finish this up, and if I find any leaks, I'll come back and show you guys this. Okay, for those of you that are curious about just how much smoke comes out of one of these, here we go here. You can see there, it's dumping out. So if you had a leak, that'd be pretty easy to see. Anyway, thought I'd show you that. We're all good here. There's no leaks anywhere. We'll go ahead and clean the throttle body. Okay, yeah, it's a little dirty. It's really not that bad. Oh, maybe there's some, you know what? It is gummed up a little bit right in there in the front. So we'll get this cleaned up real quick and back on the car. All right, we're gonna give this thing a good cleaning here. You need a little bit of throttle body cleaner. This is the little can that comes with the mass airflow sensor cleaner. And this should last a while. Like, I think this might be the 3rd throttle body I've done. Some gloves, toothbrush, and some paper towels. And we'll just kind of spray and clean, spray and clean. I've got this little screwdriver here. Actually, it's not a screwdriver, but this will go, I'll put this in here to hold the flap open so I can get cleaned around the outer edge, because that's really where we want to make sure that where that seats inside there is super clean. I forgot I wanted to mention one more thing. When you guys spray your throttle body, do not spray it like this to where that fluid can get down and seep past and get into this electronics. Always try and hold it like this so that the fluid goes down this way and not into the electronics housing. So yeah, I would just try and hold it like this. That's the way I do it. So just be cautious of that. You don't want anything going down there into that little hole or into that joint there and getting into this section here and damaging the deal. Also, try not to move the flap very much. We'll have to reset it when we get it in the truck, but ideally, you know, you don't even move this flap, but you've got to. I mean, there's just no way to get it properly cleaned without moving the flap. So if you're gonna move it, just move it once. Stick the old screwdriver in there to hold the flap open and to get your cleaner going. What is super important to clean is that you clean this flap right here on the edge on both sides. So you can see that's clean. That can get built up there. And then where that flap meets right there, inside the throttle body, that's the other super important thing. So those are the 2 areas we're going to focus on. Okay, and now you can see this is the side that I haven't cleaned. So that little area right in there, and then the front face of that flap. You can get it all clean, but those are the 2 kind of areas you really want to focus on. This is about a 5-minute job, guys. It's super fast. All right, last thing I'm going to do is just clean the seal here, and that will just be a little rub down. No biggie. And once that's cleaned, I'll just use a little bit of dielectric grease on that seal. And we'll inspect the seal and just make sure there's no cracks or anything in that seal. Looks great. Okay, there we go. We're all done. Everything's put back together. I did apply a little dielectric grease to this connector and also the connector on the throttle body, just to keep it waterproof and keep it from messing up. So let me just get the panel on here and then we'll start it up and reset the throttle body. All right, all that's left to do is to reset the throttle position sensor. So, and I think the battery was disconnected through that entire process, so it's probably going to relearn it anyway. But we'll just turn it to the on position. There we go, without starting the motor. And then we're going to slowly press the throttle all the way down until we get to full throttle. We'll hold it there for about 10 seconds. And then we'll slowly release it. There we go. Okay, we should be good to go. You can see there it's relearned. So we'll try it. Shut it off. There we go. She's warming up. I'm gonna take her for a drive and we'll see if the idle's any better. All right, guys, you can see here, I've been driving about 15 miles probably. You can see the fuel trims on the bottom there. Both sides are running. The left side is still running just a little bit lean than the right side, which is the experience I had before. I suspect that's probably plug related, but you can see the fuel trims are much better now. They were at 5% on average and moved quite a bit, but now they're 2.34 on one side, 0.78, even going down to 0 here as we go up and down hills. So yeah, that's way better. So you can see there the fuel flow is right at about 5, and that's a little bit better. There's 4.6. We're going to go up a little ridge here. It's going to burn just a little bit more fuel. And that had been running like 5.5 to 6 generally, just going on a flat. But here you can see I'm going uphill, and that's 5.7, 5.8. It's going to drop here as we get a little bit more level. So yeah, it looks like it's burning just a little bit less fuel too. So
Okay, we're back from our drive. You can see there the fuel trims at idle look really good, basically zero. The idling is better too. It's not rough at all. It's just smooth as silk. So that's looking good. I'm going to come back and do some fuel tests. That's going to take a little bit of time. I want to go down the interstate and do some testing and see if we have improved on the 10.4 miles per gallon than we got previously. I also want to try out, I saw a recent video from TFL Trucks where they had put these mirrors up and down to see what the miles per gallon gain is. They said you're going to get 6 miles per gallon. I don't believe that for a second, but what the heck, we're going to try it and see what it does in this truck. Guys, I think we're in good shape. We're definitely better than we were before, and I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, please post those down in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time.